before the video starts, I just want to make sure that I don't have the proper equipment. Like, I'm literally filming on a laptop, okay? And I am, like, I am using my mic, like my phone as a mic. I'm sorry. I'm really shy and stuff. So there will be subtitles, I think. I hope so, yeah. And that's all I want to say. But and other thing is, I'm not a professional. I'm not a proper professional, okay? And I just wanna put my story out there. And yeah, that's it. I'm not a and I would not go in a certain details and stuff, I hope. And I just wanna like, there will be certain topics that will be triggering, so I really hope Nova, like, if it bothers you, just stop watching. And I just want to share my story out there because I'm genuinely happy about it and stuff. So yeah, where do I start? I just want to say that I think I started, like, I think it was like some 3 or 2 years ago or so, when I lost someone very close to me. And I and it affected me a lot. And because of that, I think that I was really like, not in a good state of mind. Like, I was very anxious, and I was depressed and stuff. And then I remember there was this and I think it started around that time. I think the earlier of 20, like, I think late 2022, okay, around those time per. And I was very so before and I was very like, I used to get really ashamed of myself and everything. And this, I don't want to go in much details, because I feel like if I do go in much details, I'll end up crying and the voice won't come properly, okay? So yeah. And I just want to say that, so back to the story. I think it was at the late 2022 when I started like, having such thoughts and all. And I was like, okay, I won't do that, I'm not gonna this thing and stuff. But there was like other stuff I used to do that used to like, was not good for me, is what I would like to say. And yeah, and then I remember, like, after 2022 ended and we had summer vacations, like at the starting of like 2023 April, March and stuff, I was and I was really angry at a certain reason and stuff. And I was so pissed off, and I was so angry, and I felt so angry at myself and at everyone and at everything that was happening in my life that moment. And I just wanted to like, release out my anger. And yeah, and that's when I first did it. And then I used to not do anything after that. Like, I used to not take care of the stuff I've done and everything. And I would like, feel so numb after I did it. And yeah, I'm really sorry if like, if I'm talking or taking breaks in between. It just, that's what I didn't know it would turn out to be. I'm just like, trying. I okay, yeah. So and then I used to not do anything after it. And the thing after, and then it started continuing and stuff. Like, I used to get really there were times where I used to get like genuinely angry a lot, and I used to do that. And yeah, and it was, and I used to do that. And I just remember it started a lot, I think the year of 2023. And I was So just, like, I was really pissed. Like, I used to do it at the times where I was so disappointed in myself, and I used to feel like I deserve, that, and I deserve that thing. And yeah, and I was really, like, I was really, like, ashamed, and I used to get really pissed, and I used to, do that to, to overcome that feeling, like, I did this, so I deserve it. And I didn't. And there are many ways or many reasons behind why people, like, do that and stuff, or do that to themselves. And I think like, you have anger, or like, to feel something, or shame or regret or such and such. But it was really, I think it was a bit, um I'm really sorry if I'm pausing in between. It just I didn't know I would cry out so much, but yeah, I'm fine now. And the thing is, and it happened a lot. I wouldn't say it happened a lot, but there were times where I used to have this tracker app where I used to, like, control, or like, see how much. And to be honest, I think during that year, the longest I went clean without doing anything like that to myself was for 6 months. And then stuff happened, and I started doing again around like 2024 Feb. And then after that, I was like really ashamed of myself, because 6 months was actually a longer time, because there were times where I used to only go for about like 2 days, or like 3 days, or a week, or 5 days of such. And then I was really ashamed after that, because I went clean for 6 months, and then I did that again, and it was really hard. And then I remember it was like a good solid 4 months in or so. And then I think during around October, mid October, I had my exams the next day, and remember I hadn't like, studied much or such, and I did it, you know and yeah, and it's not. And I was, you know and then okay, so I just I'm really sorry, but yeah, I wanted to say that there might be um who knew I would end up crying this much. But wait a minute. Yeah, and I was really ashamed after that. And then I remember, like, around during that time, I was like, you know what, I'm not going to, it's really hard when you're going through that type of stuff. So it's really hard, because your mind just goes off. It's just that your mind, like, it starts thinking of stuff like, a lot of negative stuff and all. And I'm sorry if my voice comes out a bit shaky and stuff, but yeah. And it just, your mind starts thinking a ton of um shaky, like, very negative emotions, like, you don't deserve it, or you deserved it, you deserve to do that to yourself, or that, because you're like that, or such and such, or you don't know how to like, let out your emotions or such, or feel such emotions and stuff. And I was yeah. And I remember, tell I think I only my family didn't knew about it, and there was like only like one person or so who knew about it. And then I was like, and then what I used to do was that every time, like I thought I, like did that to myself, I used to, like go back. I used to like go back and, like set a timer date again on the app, and then be like, okay, I did this and so and so. So it used to like track my app, you know, and yeah, and I did that. And then I remember only one person knew about it, which I told later after like 2 months or so. And then I remember like the next months came and I didn't think about it, or so. I genuinely don't know how I, like I genuinely don't know how I, got over it. Also, I think life was terrible that time, is what I would say. But I didn't think of doing that because I don't know, like I feel like I still have scars visible on my hands. But yeah, I feel like I used to, like earlier feel uncomfortable or a bit of shame when I used to look at it. But then I don't know. um Now it's much more like, okay, I get it, it's not my fault either, it's kind of like something I survived. So yeah. And I remember I was and what and I remember and during this time I didn't tell anyone about it because I feel like, I don't know, I just didn't feel like opening up this to someone or so. And yeah, and I'm really sorry if my voice comes out really bad because this is actually not my real voice. It's just that I'm using a voice recorder on my phone right now to, like for my voice. And the thing is, my voice is much more different than it is right now, that you guys might be hearing. And so, and yeah, and also the thing is, I'm recording through my laptop. So yeah. And I remember after the longest, I think till now that I see that before starting, I think the longest I went was for 6 months, and I was really happy, but then I was, like, but then again, it's really hard and stuff. So yeah. And then I was real I'm the thing is, I was really young at that time. And I remember I only told like one person about it. And yeah, and I was, I don't and yeah, and then I feel like it feels much more, like calming now that I've not done. And I genuinely don't know how, I came out of it, or like, this thing, because I feel like the entire 2 years or so of such, or the entire time I was struggling, it was bad, okay. And and yeah, and it's not, I didn't feel good at all and such. And but now that I think back of it, I'm proud of myself and everything. And I didn't, do anything like that again after that. And now it's been almost a year, and I'm proud of myself that I am clean for almost a year, which is now it's actually 403 days. So yeah. And yeah, I'm really sorry, my voice is coming not proper at all, okay. I'm, I'm trying not to laugh or anything and all. And yeah, I'm being like honest. um and I'm actually right now 403 days clean, and that's really something to I'm proud of, I was it's I and I was like really hoping, I wanted to like put this video out. I didn't knew I would actually end up crying this much and all. And yeah, and I just wanted to make this video out there, like you never know, there might be someone out there, who might, you know be struggling with the same thing as I did, and I just didn't wanted, and I just wanted my story to be let out and everything. So yeah, I just wanted, and for anyone that's out there, who's even watching this video and everything, I'm really like proud of you. And yeah, and I don't know how this thing goes. I'm not okay. I'm just saying that I'm really proud of you and everything, and don't I'm really proud of you, and you're not alone, okay? And there's always someone like out there. So try opening up more. I generally can't give advice on certain stuff like this because I'm not a professional or so, but I just want to make sure people know that you're not alone, and there are people out there who will support you and stuff and everything. And just take care of yourself, and eat properly, drink enough water and everything. And yeah, that's it. And I just want you to know that you're not alone, okay? I went through kind of a similar stuff that you did also, I mean, and all. I'm not saying like I'm comparing mine and you guys is this thing. I'm just saying that that you're not alone, okay? Okay. And I don't know how this thing goes. It's really my first time doing this, so please be very show some mercy in the comments, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.